Hello, good day. Welcome to our channel. I am Ma'am Suzette, your study partner for General Education Science. Today we will be having 10 questions and we will be briefly discussing each item. So this will take only a few minutes. So I hope you stay with me until the end. Let's proceed with question number 1. Ancient studies on taxonomy, the science of classifying organisms, is credited to A. Plato, B. Socrates, C. Aristotle, or D. Sophocles. If you are thinking it is letter C, Aristotle, you are correct. So just remember, A is for Aristotle, A is for ancient. Yan, tip para hindi nyo malimutan. No? So he laid the groundworks, he laid the foundations on classifying organisms based on the similarities of their structures. That's why he was referred to as the father of ancient taxonomy. And after him, several scientists followed his footsteps. One of them was Carolus Linnaeus or Carl von Linné. So he did further studies on how to properly classify organisms. That's why he was called as the father of modern taxonomy. So again, ancient taxonomy for Aristotle and the modern taxonomy, that would be Carolus Linnaeus. And Carolus Linnaeus is also famous for his binomial nomenclature. Binomial means two name, right? And the nomenclature is naming. So binomial nomenclature literally means two name naming system. So this is the one we use now in scientific names. So related to this one, let's go to question number 2. Which of the following taxonomic ranks are used in scientific names? Is it A, kingdom and species, B, class and order, C, phylum and class, or D, genus and species? The answer is genus and species. So as you can see in our example, this is the scientific name of mango, which is Mangifera indica. So the first part, Mangifera, is the genus name, and the second part, indica, is the species name. We are having difficulties in memorizing scientific name because they are of Latin origin, right? So for example, Mangifera means mango bearing tree and indica means coming from India. So a mango bearing tree coming from India. That's the literal meaning of this scientific term. Another example, scientific name of human is Homo sapiens. No, Homo is the genus part. The genus means man, and the sapiens is the species, and this means wise. Homo sapiens means wise man. Okay, I hope that is clear. Let's go to question number 3. Who developed the geocentric model of the solar system? So, geo, the prefix geo means earth, and centric refers to being the center. So, in this model, it says that the earth is the center of the solar system. And who proposed this model? It was Claudius Ptolemy. It's not Nicholas Copernicus, it's not Johann Kepler, it's not Galileo Galilei. It is Claudius Ptolemy. However, this model was contradicted by Nicolaus Copernicus. And Nicolaus Copernicus, no, it is not the Earth that is the center of the solar system. It is the sun. That's why he proposed the heliocentric model. Helio means sun, right? And centric refers to center. So Nicolaus Copernicus said the sun is the center of the solar system in which the earth and other celestial bodies revolve around it. Okay, so these are two models of the solar system, the geocentric model by Ptolemy and the heliocentric model by Copernicus. So you can associate heliocentric model of Copernicus with the word helicopter. Helicopter, right? Helio for heliocentric and Copernicus for the proponent. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Next, we go to question number 4. Which of these structures is not present among prokaryotes? Is it A, nucleus, B, ribosome, C, cell membrane, or D, cell wall? So the term prokaryote has a Greek origin. So pro means before and karyon means nucleus. So I think I gave away the answer. It is the nucleus. Yes. So organisms can be classified as either prokaryotes or eukaryotes based on the presence or absence of the nucleus. So those without nucleus are the prokaryotes, and those with nucleus are called the eukaryotes. Ayan. So, if we are going to discuss the other organelles, ribosomes is for protein synthesis, cell membrane is for the regulation of entry of molecules in and out of the cell, and the cytoplasm, of course, this will be the liquid part of your cell. And the nucleus contains the genetic information of the organism. This is also called the control center of the cell. So if prokaryotes don't have this structure, what do they have? The prokaryotes have the nucleoid. This is where they store their genetic material. There's a nucleoid region among prokaryotes. It is in the cytoplasm of the cell. Okay, and but how do we know? Okay, this one is a simple structure, a simple comparison of a eukaryote and a prokaryote. Now, as you can see, the prokaryotes have fewer and simpler structures than those of the eukaryotes. And prokaryotes don't have nucleus, right? Aside from this, they also lack membrane-bound organelles like mitochondria. Wala rin silang mitochondria, ganyan. Wala silang chloroplast, ganon. Okay? Pero paano natin malalaman if an organism is a prokaryote or a eukaryote? So I made a mnemonic for this, that is ABPAF. So this is based on the six kingdoms. Di ba? Meron tayong anim na kingdoms. That would be archaea, bacteria, protista, plantae, animalia, and fungi. So i-chunk nyo na lang yung pag-memorize yung ABPAF. So A, B, archaea, and bacteria are both prokaryotes, and the rest, the four kingdoms, Protista, Plantae, Animalia, and Fungi, they are all eukaryotes. They all have nuclei. Okay. So sana maging helpful ito. You can take a screenshot of this para makita nyo rin yung mga representative organisms under each kingdom. By the way, this kingdom was proposed by Carl Woese. So archaea, they are also called the primitive bacteria or the extremophiles because they survive under extreme conditions. For example, the methanogens are those that can survive even in high concentrations of methane, like that. For thermophiles, thermo, temperature, phile means loving. So even if there is an extremely hot temperature, they can survive in that environment. And the halophiles, halo means the salt content, no? So even if the salt content is very high, the halophiles can still survive in that environment. So under the second kingdom naman, it's the bacteria. Ito yung Monera dun sa previous classification, no? Magkasama sila nung archaea. So bacteria, representative organisms would be E. coli and S. aureus. So lahat ng harmful and beneficial bacteria are included in this kingdom. And protista, you have the dinoflagellate, which is a cause of the one dinoflagellate is a cause of your red tide, and the amoeba, which causes amoebiasis, and your slime mold is a protist. Okay, and then plantae, you have the angiosperms and gymnosperms. Animalia, you have several phylum under Animalia, no? Marami tayo niyan. Examples would be the insects, mammals, and the reptiles. And under fungi, you have the unicellular fungus, which is the yeast. And then the other examples would be molds and mushroom. So again, that would be a puff. Archaea, bacteria, prokaryotes, and the puff part would all be eukaryotes. So masyado na bang na information overload? So let's try to have an active recall, a quick recall on what we have discussed so far. Who proposed the heliocentric model of the solar system? Heliocop. So that would be Nicolaus Copernicus. Next, what is meant by the scientific name Homo sapiens? That is wise man. You are right. Next question. What are the two taxonomic ranks that make up a scientific name? That would be genus and species. What is the control center of the cell? Yes, that is nucleus. What or organisms without nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles are called, ano to, kanina na-discuss natin, that would be prokaryotes. Next question, who is the father of modern taxonomy? Carolus Linnaeus, tama. The genetic material of a bacteria is found in the bacteria is a prokaryote, wala silang nucleus. The genetic material is found in the nucleoid. Very good. And what are the six kingdoms of organisms based on the classification of Carlos? Can memorize them by using the mnemonic ABAF, Archaea, Bacteria, Protista, Plantae, Animalia, and Fungi. Very good. Sana naalala, no? Let's proceed to question number 5. All of the following structures are present in both plant and animals except. Okay, chloroplast. Chloroplasts are present only in plants, and chloroplasts contain the green pigment chlorophyll, which is required for photosynthesis because it is the molecules that captures light energy. So speaking of photosynthesis, a related question, which of the following is the byproduct of photosynthesis? Is it A, water, B, carbon dioxide, C, glucose, or D, oxygen? Let us recall the equation for photosynthesis. That would be 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. This will be coming from the atmosphere, plus 6 molecules of water, which is absorbed by the roots. And of course, you need a very important factor, which is the light energy. And you will produce a sugar molecule in the form of glucose, C6H12O6, plus 6 molecules of oxygen. So nakita nyo na ang reactants and the products for the photosynthetic reaction. So ano ang sagot sa ating question? What is the byproduct? And the answer is oxygen. Oxygen is considered as the byproduct or the waste product of photosynthesis because it will be eventually released in the atmosphere, right? And it is no longer needed in the next steps in photosynthesis. Yung sugar, hindi nyo siya pwedeng sabihing waste product. It is the main product of photosynthesis. It will be needed by the plant. Diba? Ito nga yung tinatawag na food for the plant. It is the product that is needed by the plant to fuel its metabolic processes like growth and development. So it is not a waste product. Only oxygen is the waste product of photosynthesis. I hope that that is clear. Okay, let's go to question number 7. Chromosomes line up at the center of the cell during this stage of mitosis. Is it A, prophase, B, metaphase, C, anaphase, D, telophase? So for the others, let us review the cell cycle. So the cell cycle has 2 stages, the interphase and the mitotic phase. Now, for the first part, yung interphase, this is actually the preparation for the actual cell division. And this is also when the DNA replication happens. No? Sa S phase ng interphase, doon nagre-replicate ang DNA. Minsan kasi tinatanong din yan. So, DNA replication happens during A, mitosis, B, S phase, like that. So, that would be synthesis phase or S phase of the interphase. Doon nagre-replicate yung DNA. Okay, and another part of your cell cycle would be your mitotic phase or mitosis. This is where the actual division of the nucleus happens and eventually the division of the cytoplasm, and it will produce 2 daughter cells. Okay, the stages of mitosis, you can memorize this as the PMAT or the prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. And then eventually the cytokinesis will be the actual division of the cytoplasm. Okay, so just a quick recap, yung prophase, that is when the chromosomes condenses, the nuclear envelope disappears, the centrioles move to the opposite poles, like the formation of spindle fibers will happen in this phase. And then after prophase, PMAT, so metaphase, this is when the chromosomes align at the equatorial region or it will align in the cell plate. Okay, and anaphase, this is when the sister chromatids of the chromosome will separate. They will move towards the opposite poles. And for the telophase, so this is when the nuclear membrane will reassemble and the chromosome will reform, recondense like that, no? And lastly, which is also considered a part of mitosis, would be the cytokinesis, would be the division of of the cytoplasm, and two daughter cells will be produced. Okay, going back to our question, the answer would be metaphase. Chromosomes line up at the center of the cell during metaphase. So I hope that is clear. So another thing for science majors who might be listening, you have to study the difference between mitosis and meiosis. Okay, I will also include a question on that for Gen Ed Science in my next lecture. Okay, for now, we go to question number 8. What is the small hollow organ that stores bile before it is released into the small intestine? The answer is gallbladder. Okay. Baka may mga nalito, no? Kasi the question is which organ stores? So it is the gallbladder. But if you are asked what produces bile, your answer would be liver. Okay, again, liver produces bile, gallbladder stores the bile. Okay, I hope it's clear. And then the pancreas, that would be involved in the production of hormones for sugar regulation, diba? The insulin and the glucagon. And the spleen, this is an organ for white blood cell production, and they also um, process the elimination of the waste products of the red blood cells. It also happens in the spleen. So going back, if you are asked what is the purpose of the bile, so bile will actually help in the emulsification of fats or the digestion of fats. They also have a role in waste elimination. So tumutulong sila to eliminate waste products such as the um, bilirubin, the byproduct of the red blood cells, and also the elimination of cholesterol. Okay, liver, bile production, gallbladder, storage of the bile. Okay, clear? Number 9. Which experiment best demonstrates surface tension? Is it A, dropping a stone in a graduated cylinder, B, dissolving salt in water, C, paper chromatography, or D, placing a needle gently on surface of the water? The answer is letter D, placing a needle gently on the surface of the water. So what happens in surface tension is that the molecules on the surface of the water are strongly attracted to each other, and they somewhat form membrane on the water surface. And so if you put a needle or a paper clip, or if a light insect will walk on the water, it seems floating, right? Because of the tension on the surface of the water. This is also the reason why the water droplets are shaped like that. This is also because of the principle of surface tension. Ayan. Number 10, which of the following is considered to be a good conductor? Is it A, plastic, B, aluminum, C, wood, or D, rubber? So, ayan, 20 minutes lang pala tayo for this 10 questions. So, sana tapusin ang lahat, no? So, sa ating option, sa only metal is the aluminum. And most metals are considered good heat and electric conductor because of the presence of free electrons, no? So free flowing kanilang mga electrons, so the conduction of heat and electricity ay madali among metals. So I hope marami kayong natutunan. May nadagdag na 10 concepts sa inyong storage ngayong araw na to. So you are one step closer to your dream. Ipagpatuloy lang ang pag-aaral. Study consistently. Thank you very much for listening. For any questions and clarification, don't hesitate to drop a comment for additional information. They are all welcome. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Abet and Zed. We also have a Facebook page by the same handle. So may mga mnemonics din akong nilalagay sa page. So, ayan, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye!